Okay, everybody, one more video here, talking about how we're gonna to take care of equipment coming and going, and also transitioning things from the younger camp to the older camp. So if you zoom in here, we all come in this main road coming in from the north. So as vehicles are going to come in, basically what the plan is right now is we're going to set up areas where we're going to have bays set up just outside the dining hall here, just a little bit up the road. And we're going to set up some green bays and some red bays. And they're going to be divided by ward, but they're going to be lined up along the road here. We're going to divide them up by ward. And so basically what's going to happen, from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., the younger camp is going to pack up all their gear, and they can bring it down to these bays. And so everything that's going to go into a green bay is going to be going home, and everything that goes into a red bay is going to be staying for the older camp. Anything that's left in the red bay will be marked with painter's tape. That's going to basically just be marked with whichever family is leaving it from the younger camp, and then specifically identifying which older camp family will be using that gear for the remainder of the week. So the rule is the younger camp, they're going to be loading and unloading all their gear into these bays from 7 till 9. And then from 9 o'clock until noon, they're going to be having their activities. Now, around noon, we're going to have our trailers. We suspect that they're probably going to beat the buses up there. But one thing that's very clear for safety is the younger group will all be going into the dining hall at noon. Trailers cannot be driving through camp until all of the younger kids are in the dining hall for safety reasons. And so as the trailers arrive, we're hoping that they can line up and just pick up all of this red gear. All the red gear that's staying will be marked by family, and they can then take the gear that they've brought up from the valley as well as the red gear that's staying, and they can take and drop that at their individual campsites. And we'll have that all marked out at which families will be at which locations. Once that takes place, the trailers will drop that gear off, and hopefully they can get back around and be back down by the dining hall at about 12:30. At 12:30, we can then be ready to start accepting the older buses. Between 12:30 and 1, we suspect that our older buses will get there. When that happens, these older buses, that they're going to start lining up right here along this main road. And so as they come in, those trailers will then be on the road, and they can come back down around, and they can accept all of the individual gear from the youth that will be coming off of those buses. Again, like we talked about the 55-gallon trash bags, if we can have bags to consolidate gear, and then if we can have just individual bags marked by ward and family, we can then unload those bags, and we can take them with the trailers for a second round back to the campsites. Now, timing-wise, our very first activity will begin at 1 o'clock. So if we can accomplish all of this in an hour, we don't need to set up camp in an hour, but if we can get all the gear to camp in an hour, that would be great. What we don't want is for the last bus to be waiting for all of the other buses to have to load and unload until they can start their process. So we're going to try and stagger this out at a decent distance to where everybody can be working from every bus at the same time. One thing that we have marked off is that this area down here on the south side of the parking lot, that's all going to be roped off as an area for buses to turn around. They're going to need about 40 yards by 20 yards is what it sounds like for a bus to get in there and to make a big three-point turn to then turn back around. Once they've turned around, all of the gear in those two deliveries from the trailers should then be at the campsites, and then the youth can take their day packs and just head straight to their campsite. At that point, the buses will then be turned around and be lined up right up where that green gear is, and the younger camp at 2 o'clock is when they'll finish their lunch and their devotional, and they can then load up all the green gear on the buses in their trailers as they head home. So that's our plan as of right now. I'm sure there may be some adaptations. We'll let you know, but kind of as a rough draft, that's what we're planning on doing right now.